Hey everyone, this is Rymir Satterthwaite. I just want you to know, filing a complaint with the district court. We did everything correctly. We followed all rules. We got all our paperwork in on time, and basically, we feel like that we just was, not taken serious, and we wasn't treated correctly. We wasn't treated equal as others. They didn't fully look at the allegations. They let fraud continuously just be used and not say anything about it. Everything that the fraud is supposed to be voided, and honestly, I don't think that happened. I don't think.
Well, the first time I heard that Jay-Z probably was my father when I was 8 years old. And, my mom, we was actually sitting in the house on a regular day, listening to music. My mom came up to me and was like, "Hey, Rob, I got something to tell you. That's your dad for real." And I'm like, I was shocked. Like, "Mom, what are you talking about?" I'm young. Like, it's nothing your parents would just make up like that. You don't just say this type of person is your father, Jay-Z. Like,
so y'all, Jay-Z's alleged son Rymir Satterthwaite just jumped into the chaos, and he is exposing Jay-Z for grooming his mom. Y'all know how Rymir has been trying and failing for years to get Jay-Z to take a DNA test to confirm whether or not he is Rymir's father, right? Well, at first, we thought that Jay-Z was just trying to protect his billion-dollar fortune in case Rymir was out for money. But Rymir had another story to tell. According to him, Jay-Z allegedly spent years grooming his mom since she was a young teenager, before eventually getting her pregnant when she was only 16. Rymir has spent years gathering evidence and receipts, and it looks like he has finally had enough and is ready to spill the tea to bury Jay-Z big time. Y'all, looks like Rymir is out here for revenge, and it looks like he's about to take Jay-Z out. But before all that, let's break it down. Now, if you've been following Rymir's case, then you probably know how heartbreaking the situation is, because his mom passed away and his alleged father has refused for more than 10 years to acknowledge him. But for anybody who hasn't been following the drama, here's the rundown. So back in the 1990s, Rymir claimed that Jay-Z had a brief fling with his mom, Wanda, and although they reportedly used protection, it failed, which led to Wanda becoming pregnant with Rymir. However, since this all went down in a pre-social media era, where not everybody even had a mobile phone, they were still bumping beepers, if that. Well, they lost touch and couldn't communicate, so by the time Wanda did give birth, her boyfriend at the time ended up being the one who signed the birth certificate instead of Jay-Z. An insider explained why the boyfriend signed the birth certificate, even though he knew he wasn't the father, saying her on and off boyfriend at the time, Robert, knew the baby wasn't his, but put his name on the birth certificate while Wanda was unconscious, recovering from the birth. Initially, he felt sorry for Wanda, but later, he used it so he could collect extra food stamps and benefits. Both were minors at the time, so he shouldn't have signed anything. Well, Rymir spilled some additional tea, sharing that when he was just 8 years old, his mom, Wanda, casually mentioned that Jay-Z was actually his real dad. Now, from that moment on, Wanda became determined to get in touch with Jay-Z and see if he would take responsibility for Rymir. She didn't just sit around hoping. Wanda tried everything she could to get a hold of Jay-Z. She contacted lawyers, sent messages through mutual acquaintances, and even tried reaching him through social media and interviews. Unfortunately, despite her best efforts, every attempt seemed to hit a wall. Lawyers, publicists, and even close friends seemed to be blocking her at every turn. But Wanda wasn't one to give up easily. She had too much at stake. So she took matters into her own hands and decided to go the legal route, filing a court case to establish whether Jay-Z was indeed Rymir's biological father. But unfortunately, things did not go as planned. The judge threw the case out, citing lack of jurisdiction as the reason. It was a frustrating setback, but Wanda didn't back down. She kept fighting relentlessly, refusing to give up the search for years. It was clear that she wasn't going to let this go, no matter how many obstacles stood in her way. Well, sadly, Wanda passed away shortly after all this drama came to light. But before she died, she signed a sworn affidavit confirming that Sean Carter, aka Jay-Z, was indeed Rymir's biological father. Now, at this point, one would think that Jay-Z would be forced to at least acknowledge the situation and take a DNA test to clear the air, right? I mean, he didn't even have to go into the lab or spend hours trying to get tested. But with new procedures, all it would have taken was a simple mouth swab and all of 5 seconds, so it's not like he couldn't have made the time to do so. It was very clear that he was deliberately trying all he could to avoid taking the test, and it kind of makes us wonder if he knows something we don't. like the fact that Rymir is actually his son. He and his elite team of lawyers kept dodging the process for years, and they managed to drag it out. Frustrated with the lack of progress, Rymir, with the help of his guardian Lily Coley, decided to take matters into their own hands and handle it the legal way, even though they knew that they were going up against Jay-Z and his high-powered lawyers. They filed a civil lawsuit back in December 2014, seeking to get Jay-Z to agree to a DNA test. At this point, the drama had been dragging on for 4 years, and Jay-Z still maintained that he was not the father, but for some reason, he kept dodging a DNA test. It's baffling. Like, why wouldn't he just take the test and settle it once and for all if he's not the father? But no, the lawsuit has now stretched on for about 10 years, or 14 years if you include Wanda's initial lawsuit. And here's the kicker: even after all those years, Jay-Z is still refusing to take the test, which just screams suspicious as F. It's as if he's hiding something, and everyone's left wondering why he wouldn't just clear the air once and for all. But Rymir was understandably hurt about the situation, and he agreed to do a sit-down interview with The Sun online, where he denied allegations that he was after Jay-Z's money, saying, "I don't want money or anything like that from Jay-Z. I just want him to finally tell the truth to the world. He's supposed to be a positive role model for our community. He stands there screaming, 'Black Lives Matter.' Well, tell the truth and take responsibility. And if you say I'm not your son and nothing ever happened with my mom, then just take the test. If you are telling the truth, then why is your first answer whenever you're asked to take a paternity test no?" Well, Rymir's guardian Lily has also shared some details that really put the whole situation into perspective. Apparently, Jay-Z had gotten Wanda pregnant when she was just 16, and he was 22. The math on that age gap makes you stop and think. That's definitely a jaw-dropping revelation, and it adds another layer of complexity to this already messy story. I mean, can you even imagine a teenage girl and a grown man in a pregnancy? It's no wonder that things got so out of hand from the very beginning. It's not just about the drama of the paternity test anymore, it's about the circumstances of their relationship from the jump. The fact that Jay-Z still refuses to take a DNA test only deepens the mystery and leaves everyone wondering what he's hiding. After all this time, you'd think Jay-Z would want to clear up the confusion and move on, but it feels like he's just adding more layers of complexity. It seems there's more to the situation than just a paternity test. Perhaps it's about protecting an image or concealing something he doesn't want the public to know. And with the detail that Wanda was just 16 when all this began, it's hard not to question if the math adds up in a way that's more than just a little concerning. But that's not all, because according to reports, not only did Jay-Z allegedly get Wanda pregnant, but he also allegedly had started dating her way before then. Allegedly, the relationship might have started when she was just 13 and he was in his 20s. Seriously though, what is it that Jay-Z and getting involved with women who are younger than he is? Because this is not the first time that he's been linked to young women. I mean, he allegedly got involved with Foxy Brown when she was 15 and he was in his 20s. He also allegedly got involved with Aaliyah when she was a teenager, and the same thing happened with him and Beyonce, allegedly. And that's just the ones we know about. Well, Lily said Wanda was only 16 when she allegedly met Sean, but she may have told him she was older. She felt pregnant but had no idea how to contact him. Lily pointed out that Wanda had actually told Jay-Z she was 18 at the time, so he was unaware of her true age. Even though it technically wasn't his fault, it could still have a negative light casted on him. Fans have had their suspicions over the years, given his history of being linked to young women who weren't illegally of age. Again, just look at Beyonce, Aaliyah, Foxy Brown. It seemed like he had quite the track record of going after younger women before they were legally old enough. But if it ever came out that he got Wanda pregnant when she was just 16, it would have caused a huge scandal. Lily believes that the age factor is a major reason why Jay-Z hasn't been more forthcoming about acknowledging Rymir. When Lily and Rymir first reached out to Jay-Z's lawyers to settle things quietly, they seemed surprisingly eager to keep everything private and wrap it up behind the scenes. They even proposed signing Rymir to Jay-Z's label, thinking it might be a way to smooth things over. But Lily wasn't interested in taking that route. She felt it was better to distance herself from any association that could potentially make things 10 times worse. She wasn't just going to compromise her role as a guardian for a quick deal. Lily was adamant that the truth had to come out no matter what it took. The situation is more than just about settling paternity. It's about standing up for what's right and not letting anyone brush it under the rug. Lily believes that acknowledging the age gap and the circumstances would deal a major blow to Jay-Z's public image, something he clearly wants to avoid at all costs. It almost seems like he's more worried about protecting his reputation than actually doing the right thing, which only raises more questions about his true intentions. For Lily, this issue goes beyond a legal settlement. It's about demanding transparency and accountability, even if it means enduring more scrutiny and backlash. She's not willing to be swayed or manipulated into a quick fix. She wants the whole truth and nothing but the truth to come out, no matter the consequences. She said, "I got a call from his in-house lawyer, and they were very helpful, and we thought we would resolve this privately. They even talked about Rymir's music talent and whether it was a good time to put him on his record label, but he had to finish high school, so I said no." Suddenly, different lawyers got involved and their attitude completely changed. I think they realized there was more at stake for Sean, given that Wanda was allegedly underage. Now, at that point, things started going downhill for Rymir, and he placed the blame squarely on Jay-Z and Beyonce. Rymir and Lily claimed that Jay-Z's lawyers were playing dirty. They suspected that Jay-Z's legal team had bribed Rymir's lawyers to sabotage the case. It seemed like a desperate attempt to bury the truth and protect the Carter's reputation at any cost. This kind of tactic only fueled Rymir's frustration and solidified his beef that Jay-Z was more interested in maintaining a flawless public image than addressing the situation honestly. Well, Lily backed up these claims, pointing out that the pressure from Jay-Z's side to keep everything under wraps was relentless. It was almost as if they were more focused on discrediting Rymir than finding a fair resolution. And this maneuver only made things more complicated and left Rymir feeling like he had no hope of things working out good for him. The measures that Jay-Z's lawyers allegedly took to keep things quiet seemed dubious and only intensified the sense of wrongdoing that Rymir and his supporters experienced. It's evident that this isn't merely about a paternity test. This is about the lengths some people will go in order to maintain their image, even if it means compromising the truth. And according to reports, Lily launched a legal battle against their own lawyers, accusing them of colluding with the rapper's legal team to help them get out of taking the test. She claimed that they secretly colluded with the lawyers of Jay-Z, causing procedure problems that caused the case to be thrown out of Philadelphia courts.
It's crazy. It really is crazy. These judges, these lawyers, this fraud, collusion. Who knows what it's for? Money or friendships or whatever they got going on. But I can honestly say that we should never go in the courtroom feeling like we're already the victims and we did nothing wrong.
But despite the long-standing track record of Jay-Z and Beyonce, it was entirely surprising that they'd resort to such measures. It felt like a move straight out of the playbook, but here's a twist. Rymir is tough as nails, and none of it fazed him. Even with all the dirty tactics from Jay-Z's lawyers, Rymir remained irresolute. He decided to take a stand and file a motion with the Supreme Court demanding the release of years' worth of documents dating back to 2012. He kept arguing that keeping these records under lock and key was an injustice. Unfortunately, the Supreme Court shot down his motion too, citing a lack of jurisdiction to reopen matters in the appeals court or unsealed records in the trial court. Undeterred though, Rymir pressed on and filed another motion with the appellate division, but that was also denied. And it's no surprise that Rymir is feeling frustrated, because who wouldn't? He's been at this fight for more than 15 years and it's like he hasn't moved a single step forward. Every step he takes seems to lead him to another dead end, and it feels like the system is intentionally keeping him at bay. All he's asking for is a fair chance to present his case, but it's as if every door is being slammed in his face. It's a real test of strength, and you can't help but cheer him on despite all these obstacles. But I mean, can't you just admire his determination? He refuses to give up. It makes you think that he really believes in this. Even in the face of all these legal hurdles and the alleged dubious maneuvers from Jay-Z's team, Rymir continues to fight for what he believes is right. This isn't just about a paternity test for him. He's demanding clarity and accountability from the Carters, no matter how long it takes, and most people just would have called it quits at the first sign of trouble. But Rymir's bravery is inspiring.
And I'm not pointing no fingers. I'm just asking everybody, all the judges or anybody who's working on the case, to do what's right and do their job the correct way, even if you overlook something or didn't see something. Everybody makes mistakes, as I said before, but you know, it's time to actually do your job and look at everything and get it correct, because you know, you cannot use fraud to continue anything in this world. You can't use fraud to help you get forward in life. Then, you know, try to continue on your fraud.
But on the opposite end, many people have rushed to defend the Carters, suggesting they didn't fully grasp the situation because their lawyers and publicists were handling everything. But let's be real a second. For a millisecond, Beyonce and Jay-Z were very much in the loop. They even threw some not-so-subtle shade at Rymir in their song, Heard About Us. It's almost like they're acknowledging the issue without taking direct responsibility. Instead of addressing it head-on, they chose to bury it under a veil of indifference and toss in a little passive-aggressive comment through their lyrics. The idea that they can hide behind ignorance doesn't really stand up here, especially when they have an entire team managing their every move. By referencing the situation indirectly in a song, they make it clear that they're not as uninvolved as they want to pretend to be. Beyonce and Jay-Z knew exactly what was going on, but instead of facing it, they chose to downplay it and move on, all while throwing their music in as a shield to keep up appearances without actually dealing with the matter head on. They accused Rymir of chasing clout in their song Heard About Us and said, Billie Jean in his prime, for the 1,000th time, the kid ain't mine. Online they call me dad kiddingly. You're not supposed to take this dad thing literally. That's too famous. We don't even really want to do famous. I'm cool on that. Chuck the 2 fingers. Every day I'm getting sued. I show up in court without a suit. Your every move is on the news, ain't it? Ish has its perks too, ain't it? Heard about us. Well, Rymir didn't take that lying down either, cause he fired back with his own diss track where he took aim and said, ninjas washed up still doing tracks like 55 where the F you at. Needs to go back to your old days, grown man in his old ways. He later revealed the reasoning behind the song in an interview where he said, this is not me being petty or trying to start a feud or anything like that. I want to put my song out there to let the world know I'm still going up, regardless what anyone says. And Jay-Z, I'm coming for the music industry. If he said that he's not my dad 1,000 times, wouldn't it be easier to just take the test? This has gone beyond paternity tests now. It's about more than that. His publicist also said, if Jay-Z has put his feelings out there and heard about us, so Rymir should express his feelings through his music too. Jay-Z is saying that he has denied being Rymir's father 1,000 times. Well, I don't know who to, because he never said anything to Rymir or his family. Why is he on the run? Well, fans have assumed that Rymir is just after Jay-Z's money, but you can't really blame them given the way things look. However, Rymir has been adamant that this isn't about cash at all. He says he just wants closure and clarity about who his father is and his lineage. He's been very clear that he's not trying to make a quick buck off this drama. For Rymir, this is deeply personal. He's focused on finding out the truth so he can move forward with his life, not on turning a situation into some sort of fame or fortune. He said, I got pushed to the side and basically now I walk around and everybody's looking at me and saying he's chasing Jay-Z, he wants money, he's trying to get his 15 minutes of fame. This was never about money for me. My whole thing was just to see who my father was, and honestly, I got my own money. I work 2 jobs, I take care of my own business, I just needed closure and I wanted respect from the courts. Just like everybody else goes in there and gets respect and gets a fair due process, why didn't I get that? Why did I just get brushed to the side? Well, things started to get more complicated a couple months ago when Rymir and Lily began to suggest that Beyonce wasn't just an innocent bystander in this situation. They came forward and pointed out that she might be more involved than initially thought, perhaps even trying to keep things quiet or influence the narrative behind the scenes. And there's a growing suspicion that Beyonce could be pulling them strings to shield the Carters' public image and prevent this paternity issue from getting resolution. They also claim that intimidation tactics have been used against them for years. Rymir said he was shot at after he filed a civil suit against Jay-Z. Dr. Lily believes that Beyonce played a key role in persuading Jay-Z from acknowledging Rymir and settling the case. Beyonce and Jay-Z may have cruelly mocked Rymir in their music. They also claim that they've been receiving a number of threats from Beyonce, which pushed them to do a sit-down interview with Liz Crokin to share their side of the story just in case something happens to them. But y'all, here's a completely different version. It looks like there's more at play here because according to Lily and Rymir, Beyonce wasn't just trying to protect the the inheritance. She might also be trying to shield her husband's reputation. The last thing that Jay-Z and Beyonce need is for the public to find out that he has not only dated a much younger girl when he was in his 20s, but also got her pregnant and then abandoned both her and her son. Now things are starting to make sense, and it seems like Rymir is going to use this angle to push for a DNA test. And it looks like Jay-Z could be in even more trouble soon. Y'all, this is shaping up to be quite the tangled mess. But while we wait to see what Rymir's next move will be, let me know how you're feeling about all this drama, and check out this next video.